This video was recorded at the EA Sports FIFA 17 capture event. EA were kind enough to invite myself and a select few other YouTubers down to London to play an early access build of the game. As such, all of the player ratings aren't necessarily final, and they were also kind enough to cover all food and drink expenses for the day, so a massive thank you to them for that. Hopefully you guys enjoy the video though, and we'll jump into it right now. Hey guys, welcome to episode 4 of this career mode preview of FIFA 17. As you can see, we have 3 games in the month of September. We are now out of the transfer window, and as we mentioned earlier on in the series, the plan is to play 2 games per month and simulate the rest. As you could probably tell from that particular schedule, we're going to simulate the Swansea game and play Liverpool and Arsenal, considering they are the 2 larger sides that we face this month. Training is exactly the same this year as it was last year, but I thought I'd show you just exactly what it looks like. It's literally just a change in the colouring of the background, but training, there are a handful of new skill games in the game, but the way that they work in training is exactly the same, as in the training drills that you can do and how they affect your player growth. Everything's exactly the same as it was in FIFA 16, unfortunately. But sadly, also unfortunately, we get a 2-1 defeat against Swansea as I simulate the game, which didn't necessarily put me in the best of moods as we're heading into this game against Liverpool. You can see, as again, an example of the 2 sides not really liking each other. Bit of a rivalry. They face each other off there in the menu, as you can see. And Thibaut Courtois is back from injury. He was out for 3 weeks, but he's back after just 2 with the little plaster symbol next to his name, and I am able to actually play him in this one, thankfully. So we have our first team keeper back again. I don't know whether having to play Lafont against Swansea actually meant that that was why we conceded a couple of goals. I'm not sure, but Jurgen Klopp looks fantastic with his shiny glasses, and my guy looks just old and haggard and past it, to be completely honest. But this is the Liverpool lineup. You saw my lineup earlier on in the menus, but Liverpool playing Roberto Firmino at striker. They have brought in Lars Bender there, you can see, at CDM. That's the signing they made in this save, and of course, new signing Clavan was there in the centre of defence as well. Obviously, a signing that they made in real life before we got to the transfer window in FIFA. But Willian has the first chance of the game. Unfortunately, though, spins the defender very well, but can't find the back of the net. Putting a lot of power behind it, trying to rifle it in at the near post, but doesn't quite get the angle right, and over the top of the bar it goes again. I was pretty much doing exactly the same while sat there in front of the monitor, to be completely honest, as my in-game manager character was in that situation. Terrible pass out from Mignolet there, though, and Hazard will square it towards the middle, but I just can't quite find Diego Costa, and Mignolet lives to fight another day. Big mistake from the Liverpool goalkeeper there, and as you can tell, we are on the attack time and time and time again. Nathaniel Klein chops Alexandro there, and this is a really nice little cutscene. It's a new one. You can see that there's a lot of players in a gaggle there. The referee just backs away, calls the player towards him as he would do in real life, and brandishes the yellow card. His teammates don't think too much of that, but obviously that was a yellow card challenge. Now, I recorded this video before the demo came out, so I was going to show you how to take free kicks, etc. But obviously, with the demo now being available, I'm sure a lot of you have taken free kicks in similar situations yourselves, and I need a little bit of practice. That was the first free kick from that sort of range I'd taken all day at the capture event. Unfortunately, clearly, I still need a little bit of practice when it comes to that. Willian goes to put the ball into the box here. And you can see he's injured himself just by putting the cross in. He actually pulled his quad, which is the muscle on the front side of your thigh. I did have to take him off just after half-time, but it was involved again here, lofting that ball across to Eden Hazard. Brings it down, but the defender gets across. In fact, it wasn't the first defender, Klein, that blocked that. It was the second, Joel Matip. Went out for a corner that unfortunately nothing came from. I tried Willian in the second half. You can see he's still on the pitch there. That shot was pretty tame for Courtois to take, but in the end I had to take him off and bring on Riyad Mahrez as a replacement because the injury was really hampering him a little bit. Nice little 1-2 with Hazard and Kante there from the throw-in into Nemanja Matic. Trying to work something here to take the lead if we possibly can. Oscar going to look for a cheeky through ball through there. Reaches Mahrez, but on the stretch, he can't quite get there in time, and Clavan does well to turn it away for a corner, which sadly nothing came from, and then we weren't able to create anything else throughout the game. A dominant performance from us in this game against Liverpool, but we weren't able to turn it into 3 points, unfortunately. So, I've said unfortunately so many times in this episode already. I really need to work on my vocabulary, but as you can see here, Willian will be out for 3 weeks with that pulled quad, so sadly we're going to have to wait for him to be back, which means Riyad Mahrez gets a start, our £57 million new signing. We spent a hell of a lot of money in the transfer window, as you will have seen from the previous episode. If you missed anything else on the channel, then do make sure you check the channel page for it, and drop this video a like if you enjoy it, and of course subscribe to the channel too, if you haven't to this point, to make sure you get all of my FIFA 17 career mode content. How good though does the Emirates look here at dusk? As the sun is just going down, the lighting is absolutely gorgeous. It would be pretty cool if you started a game in conditions like this at dusk, and gradually throughout the game we plunged further into darkness, and obviously the floodlights became more prominent on the pitch. It's a shame that that isn't the case. There is no dynamic weather conditions or dynamic time of day conditions. I don't actually know whether there's any dynamic weather conditions with regards, like starting off in the dry and it's starting to rain. I don't think that's in the game this year, but maybe with more more time to work on the Frostbite engine for FIFA, that might be something we see in later years, because you do get dynamic conditions in Battlefield, of course, with another EA game that uses the Frostbite engine, but the Battlefield team have been using the Frostbite engine for years, and this is, of course, the first game we've seen with Frostbite engine on any EA Sports game, let alone a FIFA one. But Riyad Mahrez, 17 minutes into the game against Arsenal, after being into the starting lineup for the injured Willian, gets injured. So I had to bring on Pedro to play on that right-hand side, and as you can see here, having our first chance, or at least we could have had our first chance, if Marquisio hadn't just flopped underneath the ball. I actually properly shouted at the screen when he did that at the capture event. I don't think the Ultimate Team guys, had actually ever seen someone rage as much as I did at a game against the computer, playing against the AI. They're used to seeing people rage when playing online, but I was doing it against the CPU, so it was a new experience for them, but you guys know what I'm like when I get animated when playing career mode. Thankfully, though, I was animated in this particular example by us taking the lead. A very good finish from Diego Costa. You saw the chance happen, the goal go in, and the replays there in the background, whilst discussing my play style and the way that I get a little bit animated when I play FIFA on camera. Obviously, when I get the full release and I'm able to record at home with my usual setup, I will be having live commentary and the green screen, etc. So usual content format will resume once we get towards the full release. But of course, all of this capture event footage is post-con, because I wasn't going to take my green screen all the way down there and get super animated and commentate really loudly in a room of other people that were trying to make videos as well. It's just not fair on everyone. But Olivier Giroud has had a couple of really good opportunities here, and thankfully Thibaut Courtois is able to make a couple of very good saves. You can see how pleased with his efforts he was in those particular highlights just after this shot had come on. Arsenal were dominating possession here, and just as I dominated the game against Liverpool, they were dominating this one. The only difference was we'd been able to get a goal in this one to this point, and they hadn't. Another top save from Thibaut Courtois here. You see a replay. Granit Xhaka absolutely thwacks this as hard as he possibly can, puts everything through it, but it's not as into the corner as he may have liked. Had it been a little bit more accurate into that bottom corner, then you might have expected that to go in, but it was quite comfortable for Courtois in the end. You'll see briefly from the stats here, the dominance they've had: 65% possession, 6 shots, 5 on target, to my 35%, 1 shot, 1 on target. But, crucially, that 1 on target led to a goal. And in the second half, we started to get a little bit more into the game. Cahill having a header there 10 minutes into the second period from a corner. I am yet to score from a corner, either on the capture event footage or on the demo as well. Although, to be fair, I've only played like 2 or 3 games of the demo, so I haven't yet been able to work out a proper corner routine that works for me. Nice football here that leads to Marquisio's shot, unfortunately getting deflected off Debussy, but thankfully for me, it drops straight to Eden Hazard, who fires it into the back of the net. We get an achievement there called Slotted for scoring a goal with a low shot. Now look where the ball ends up in the back of the net. That's not a low shot. It does take a deflection off the keeper, but you can see here that even before it gets to the keeper, it's still 1.5 feet, 2 feet off the ground. So I think that needs a little bit of tweaking as to whether or when you get that achievement given to you, because that most definitely wasn't a low shot. But I'll take the achievement, and I'll take the goal as well. Chelsea 2, Arsenal 0. Hazard causing all sorts of problems in the box here as well. Just looking to lay that back to the man on the edge, N'Golo Kante, but Koscielny lunges in, gets very impatient there. You can see the referee just shrugging his shoulders like, what did you expect me to do, Laurent? That is clearly a foul. Like, it was the most obvious penalty you've ever seen. You can actually target or change the target off, toggle the target on and off there, as you can see I have done with the D-pad. So I did that and then missed the penalty. So had it been 0-0 and that was the chance to win it, I would have been absolutely livid with myself. The fact that we were 2-0 up and were able to get the 3 points anyway meant that I was a little bit more lenient and on, you know, just hating myself, and was able to just deal with the fact that we got 3 points anyway. So we are up to 8th in the league there, I think. We're going to be missing Riyad Mahrez for 4 weeks, though, so it's just as well I brought in that extra winger. And we let Cuadrado go, of course, but now Pedro will get a little bit of a chance in the starting lineup. We're going to have a quick squad report here. If you want to pause the video at any point to see anybody's stats in closer detail, then do feel free to do so. Really, really pleased, though, with the growth of the squad to this point. Claudio Marchisio is dropping slightly, but that's to be expected. He's 30 years of age, and when it comes to the full career mode on the full game, I won't be buying someone that is, you know, kind of coming towards the end of their career. On career mode, on YouTube at least, you normally tend to aim towards the younger players, like Mahmoud Dahoud there, and like Kennedy, etc. Matt Miazga's growing as well. A couple of the players that I'm not actually playing that much are starting to grow too. Michy Batshuayi hasn't seen much football at all. Lucas Piazon hasn't seen any football. Oscar is growing well, though. JT, unfortunately, still declining. Alban Lafont, as you saw, we were training him, so he's growing quite nicely. And obviously, if you train a young keeper yourself, when you get the game, he will grow very, very fast as well. We did that in the Newcastle series at the end of FIFA 16. Ended up with a keeper that was rated 80 or 81 after just 2 seasons worth of training, when he started at like 66, 67 rated. So again, the training is pretty powerful when it comes to concentrating on just the one player. So it's something you could utilise perhaps in a Road to Glory series. Maybe choose one of your players that you don't necessarily like or get on with, train them up and then sell them on for profit, or train them up into a player that you think you might get on well with. As you can see, though, after 6 games we are 8th in the league, but not too far away from the top of the table. Only 7 points, sorry, from top of the table, and only a handful of points away from the European spots. And after getting 3 points against Arsenal and a draw against Liverpool, I'm confident that we can get ourselves up towards those European spots in the next episode. But that's going to bring this one to a close. Drop the video a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel too for more FIFA 17 content. But for now, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.